إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. ثم أما بعد. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, it has been a long time I didn't come to this masjid, the beautiful masjid, but I did some khutbah in Fantas. And when Brother Rafiq asked me for this Friday, I said I have to bring something of importance, and it's a gift. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us this. Each and every single individual, we always think about our family and our kids, that we need to spare some money to leave a legacy for them. And always, because we are human beings, we are so materialistic. I thought that to bring today for you one of the most important legacy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ummah, nation, we have to be very proud about the jewels which been left and given to us by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The expensive legacy which Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left it for his own ummah until the day of judgment. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was visiting, when he left Mecca to make his hijrah to Al-Madina, the people of Al-Madina expecting him every now and then that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will arrive. The moment he arrived to Medina, before he entered Medina, one of the Sahaba said, we were so much impressed about his facial expression, the way how nur comes from his face. And the first announcement Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it when he entered Medina was as follows. First of all, he said, Ya ayyuhan nas. He didn't specify his followers. He said, Ya ayyuhan nas. When it says Ya ayyuhan nas, it means everybody, Muslim and non-Muslim people. He advised them for 4 things, which I call them the legacy. This is the first announcement Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he entered Medina, he told the people who were expecting him and waiting for him for a while. The first advice Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Afshu salam. Say salamu alaikum, exchange wishing each other. How many times we pass by group of people who are sitting, and sometimes we just get the habit of not to say salamu alaikum. And sometimes shaitan comes to us and said, you have to be discriminating to say salam to whom? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very specific in that regard. Afshu salam. Number 2, at'imu ta'am. Feed people, and he was not specific. Feeding people, it doesn't need, always we have that communication of feeding people, only the poor and the people who needs to be need for food. It is not. As a matter of fact, there are people who loves to feed others. And the simple example is your parents, your mom and your dad. They won't eat before you have to eat. And if you have that niyyah, that you are welcoming people to your home to feed them, and you have to recall the intention and niyyah, looking for what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, you will be rewarded hasanat. Number 3, wasilul arham. You have to communicate with your kinship. How many of us having our cousins, our brothers and sisters, either being in Kuwait or they are away from Kuwait? How many of us have that close kinship with our own blood-related people? As a matter of fact, quite a few stories happening that I will not call my sister because her kids were fighting with my kids, and a major disaster will happen among the family. For what? For kids' problems. And you will have that blood-related relationship will be distorted. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his announcement when he came to Al-Madinah, that Salat al-Arham. Number 4, وَصَلُّوا وَالنَّاسُ نِيَامٌ. And do prayers where the other people are asleep. How many times, especially nowadays, Fajr prayers, alarm comes at 4:35. If anybody of us go to bed at around 12 midnight, you will have a good 4 hours sleep. Just have your alarm to be set half an hour or 15 minutes before Fajr prayers, and try it as a test, as an example for you. I'm not saying that do it every night, but how many of us were doing Salat Tahajjud in the weekends? Just make it for the weekends, because people sometimes say, I have to go to work tomorrow, I have to have enough sleep. Fine, but you are not supposed to have a week, 7 days, without one night for 2 rak'ahs to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how much you love Him. The conclusion of those recommendations, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it when he entered Madina, تدخل الجنة بسلام. This is the results. It's a very simple formula. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said it to Al-Madina's people. Ya ayyuhan nas, afshu salam, wa at'imu al-ta'am, wa silu al-arham, wa sallu bil-layli wal-nas niyam, tadkhulu al-jannata bisalam. Very simple acts. 4 acts, 4 jewels from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the end results, تدخل الجنة بسلام. Kinship, exchanging salam with others, feeding people, as well as prayers, 2 rak'ahs at night while the people are asleep, provided those tips or those 4 acts should be with ikhlas and niyyah, and you are doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our attitude, our joyful moments, and our happiness during Ramadan came because of what? We were worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in segregation. We are fasting together. We are praying Taraweeh and Tahajjud together. And some of us will have their own prayers between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let Ramadan to be practiced. I'm not saying keep Ramadan 7 days in a week. I'm saying just have 1 day of Ramadan each and every single week. If the year is 52 weeks, take off 4 weeks for Ramadan. The rest is yours. Try to make sure that each and every single week, and choose the weekends. Choose the long weekends and practice things which will be your ticket to be entering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's paradise. In conclusion, my dear brothers and sisters, for those people who came late to our khutbah, first khutbah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said 4 things. If you were going to practice them, you will enter the paradise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in peace. Ifsha as-salam, Salat al-Arham, feeding people, إطعام الطعام والصلاة بالليل والناس نيام. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. The second khutbah will be how we are assessing our success in this life. And our success in this life depends on how much we are thinking about our life after we die. Because if you're going to think carefully about your success, when you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to be successful in this life, because whatever you will invest at this moment, you will find it in your account when you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The success in this life is not to be wealthy. The success in this life is not to have higher education. The success in this life is not just to own the best car or the best mobile phones. I'm not saying these type of things is not part of our lifestyle, but always think, if anything you're going to get it, is it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I going to do it to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Being materialistic, my dear brothers and sisters, we are so far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many of us have in our calendar, in daily basis, 10 to 15 minutes to read Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words, which is Al-Quran Al-Kareem? You shouldn't allow a day to pass without you opening Al-Quran Al-Kareem. And I'm very specific when I say open Al-Quran, not your mobile where you have the built-in Al-Quran. Because you are allowed to read Al-Quran without wudu if you have your mobile. But can you imagine, if you make wudu, you will have ajr. If you hold Al-Quran Al-Kareem, you will have a respect. And your feelings will be totally different if you are holding a mobile. You have to think that the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be put away from what we are exchanging in the mobile. Keep the mobile where you have a built-in Quran. Whenever you are traveling, whenever you are in the car, but you have to have a designated time where you are holding Al-Quran Al-Kareem as papers. Read 2 pages, not more than 2 pages. But show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that a day will not pass if you don't take your pill. How many diabetics, how many hypertensive people, if a day pass, if they don't take their medicine, they will feel so much upset. When it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Quran, when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words, we are ignorant. We neglected it. We know there are people who knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's word, Al-Quran, from Ramadan to Ramadan. Al-Quran, 1 page, it has a lot of hasanat. We don't want, just you decide with your kids. If your kids build up the relationship with Al-Quran Al-Kareem, believe it or not, my dear brothers and sisters, whatever ajr your kids will read, it will come to your account because you taught them how to build a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before I conclude, I just again to repeat that hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. إذا مات ابن آدم, whoever will pass away, انقطع عمله إلا من 3. All of us will die. It's a basic concept. If I will die today, tomorrow, but the day will come, the moment will come. And when we pass away, Prophet Muhammad said there are 3 things which going to last after your death, which is your legacy. انقطع عمله إلا من ثلاث: ولد صالح يدعو له، وعلم ينتفع به، وصدقة جارية. So can you imagine 3 important legacy? ولد صالح. How on earth you going to have a son or a daughter whom they don't know how to read Al-Quran Al-Kareem? I don't say that they have to read it in English or any different kind of language. They have to understand it very well in Arabic. How come a boy or a girl, a son or a daughter, will make dua and prayer for their own parents if their parents they don't taught them how to make dua properly? If your daughter and if your son, they never heard you praying to your own parents, to their own grandparents, how they will be praying for you? The second one, sadaqatun jariyah. And this brings up to us what's going on around us at the moment. You know the disasters which our brothers and sisters being exposed to, the natural disasters in Indonesia. Our brothers in Indonesia were suffering from floods, and they are suffering from so many diseases. If they don't die because of the flood, they will die because of diseases. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to you the ajr near to your foot, and if you don't realize that ajr, you are the loser. Before I conclude, it was a very nice story being said. It's just a question for everybody. If I need money, if I am a poor man and asking money from somebody, and that money comes out and put in my hand, who is the most among those two? Who is the best and most having the joyful moment? Who is the happiest among those two people? And a study said that the one who gave the money, he is far better having that joyful moment and that happiness more than the poor people. Because if you pay something, 1 KD, to somebody who needs it, you are the winner. And something within yourself, you cannot express it. You came across so many people, and all of you went through that moment of 100 fils or 1 KD given to people who are in need for it. There is internal peace, there is internal happiness and joyful moments, unexpressible. You will be speechless, you cannot express it, but you have something within yourself more than that guy who took that 1 KD or 100 fils to buy food for himself. So what I'm trying to say is that today our brothers in one of the charities are here to help to get some charities to our brothers and sisters in Indonesia. So try your best. The minimum amount, don't allow shaitan to come. And sometimes shaitan comes and said, 1 KD, it will not do anything. As a matter of fact, sometimes 1 KD will solve a lot of things. 1 KD will take you away from the fire. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر اللهم اعداء الدين. اللهم وانصر من نصر هذا الدين. اللهم واخذل من خذل هذا الدين. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم وعافي وشافي جميع مرضى المسلمين. اللهم عافي وشافي جميع مرضى المسلمين. اللهم واجعل ولايتنا في من خافك واتقاك